that is the launch event of Flutter Valsad. You might have already seen the schedule. So we would first start with the introduction of all the organizers and co-organizers of the team. So let me start with my introduction first. I am Abhishek Doshi, organizer of Flutter Valsad. As you might most of you might already know me. Still, some might not know me. So I am the one who loves to create beautiful apps with Flutter and help people develop great apps and spread knowledge. I am also the semi-finalist for Build for Digital India 2020, organized by Google India. I have participated in around 30 plus hackathons with various positions like participant, organizer, mentor, judge, etc. I love to solve daily life problems by creating apps for the same. And I have also created like around 30 plus apps using Flutter, small to big ones. I have also got featured in Android Stream for one of the app named Productly. In short, I am part-time student and full-time Flutter developer because I spend most of my time working on Flutter. And yep, that's it for my introduction. I would like to hand over the session further to Bhavik Dodia, who is our co-organizer.
Hello everyone, I am Bhavik, a final year CSE student who is always eager to learn. I was also a part of a team which got selected for semi-final round for Build for Digital India organized by Google. I have been playing with Flutter since around a year now and have developed a couple of apps and one is currently under development. I am really grateful for being a part of this community and thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Maliha Nan. I am a fourth year BTech student in computer engineering at Dhamsi Desai University, Nadyad, and I'm originally from Valsad. I love to code. I like to discover new technologies. The reason why I stumbled upon Flutter a few months back and grew interested in it ever since. In my university, I am the head of the mobile development team of Developer Student Clubs DDU, and I'm part of various technical and non-technical clubs because I like to keep myself busy.
Hi guys, my name is Madhura. I am a final year B student from ITM University. I am kind of interested in machine learning because mainly of two reasons. I like maths and I have a huge crush on Python. Also, one of the reason I like competitive programming. I'm not very good at it yet, but I think it gives me a rush and helps me solve the problems. Also, I am the campus CodeChef chapter tech lead from my university, and I'm new to Flutter, and I'm looking forward for this community, and I'm really interested and really excited for this community. Now, I think you all are interested, or I hope you guys are excited to hear why we started this, or what was the initiative behind starting Flutter Valsad. Now, if I tell you that there are no tech communities here in a 60-kilometer radius, and it's very hard to believe that there are no tech communities, but there are significant number of tech companies here. And I think you all know how communities play an important part in your life or where you want to be. I think we have very cool examples here to tell us that what they have achieved through communities. It helps you boost your confidence, meet like-minded people, share your knowledge, grow more in every aspect. So that was one of the important reasons so that we spread awareness about Flutter and other tech in general among the people in Valsad and nearby districts. I hope you guys learned so many new things from here and we're really looking forward to it. Now I think we are done with the introductions. Now I am really looking forward for you guys to, anybody who is interested can come up and introduce themselves, their name, their company name or college name. If you're a college student, then your year, what are your achievements that you're really proud of, and how many years or how much time have you been in Flutter? Anybody?
Okay, hello everyone. I am Deep Gandhi. I am also from computer session and I am from RNGPIT at Badori College. Speaking of my achievements, so recently I have completed a Google Cloud Ready program. And speaking of Flutter, that I have kind of null experience in it, but I would like to explore this field. Thank you.
Thank you, Deep. That's what we are here for. Help everyone. Anyone else? I think communities, you guys are part of the family, and community is not only made of 4 people. Anybody will like to come up?
Yes, definitely. I would like to go ahead. So, hello everyone. This is Siddharth Dalwal this side. So, first of all, thanks everyone for joining the launch event of Flutter Vadodara, and I'm really like overwhelmed to see like many people joining all together on this Sunday evening. So that's great to see. This is how community grows. And yeah, so talking about me, I'm a pre-final year student with computer science as major, and I'm much more involved in the community side and actively contributing to hackathon communities. So far, like I've been part of 40 plus hackathons with different roles, and I've been like in touch with Abhishek and Bhavik since long, as they are from my college itself. And I'm really glad that they thought of starting this community, because as the co-organizers said, that there was like lack of community involvement in the city, and Flutter Valsad can be a great kickstart to stop that thing and have some great environment in Valsad city itself. So yeah, all of the organizing team are like super awesome, and I'm looking forward to see much more community events with respect to Flutter. And I'm like a very beginner in Flutter, no doubt in that. So yeah, looking forward for the same. And thanks once again for inviting us today.
Thank you, Siddharth. Anybody else is interested?
Guys, this is going to be a totally informal event. Don't feel shy. Feel yourself comfortable with the community, because in my experience, being in 30 plus hackathons, the most important part is networking. Even Siddharth would agree with me for this, because the networking is the only part that will help you to grow in your career, in your life, and like everything, every possible aspect of life. So feel free to introduce yourself. We would actually love to connect with you all.
Hello, hello everyone. Myself, Omkar Gaikwad from Mumbai. I have completed my bachelor's in computer science in 2018. Since then, I have been working for a company, pharma-based IT company, where I work as a mobile application developer. Till now, I have worked on various technologies like iOS development, Android development, React Native, somewhat level, and from past 8 to 9 months, I've been working on Flutter, and I'm already in love with it. So, thanks for inviting to this event.
Thank you so much, Omkar. Even I am in love with Flutter. I have been doing Flutter since around now 1.5 years. Okay, so we can move forward. If anyone is willing to introduce, you can introduce now, or else we can keep a networking session at the end also. So the first part of today's session is going to be introduction to Flutter. There would be many beginners who doesn't have any knowledge of Flutter. So we would start with our first event, that is the introduction to Flutter. And Just a second, I would share my screen. Okay, so is it visible? Like, okay, good. So let's start with the introduction of Flutter. As you might already know that Flutter is basically most probably used for creating beautiful UIs for different platform apps. So basically, why would one choose Flutter? Of course, everyone would be having this question because there are many technologies like React Native, Ionic, Xamarin, and whatnot. So why Flutter? So basically, Flutter is a cross-platform app development framework developed by Google. So you have a trust on Google, right? So that's why most probably many people choose Flutter. It is open source. So what does this mean is that the complete framework is open source. If you want any features to be included in Flutter, you can contribute to the repository. You can create your own packages. What is package? We would go in detail further. So you can contribute to Flutter whenever you want and whatever you want. Everything in Flutter is a widget. So let me explain this. What is a widget? A widget is basically we can say that it is a chunk of UI which you can use to create an app. So for example, if you are from web development background, then the tag button that we use is a widget in Flutter. If like in that way, anything like even a text that we use is a widget. So we can say that widget is a UI component that we use to create an app. Large community support. Yes, it is still growing. Flutter is still growing. The community is definitely very big and it is still like expanding the support. You can easily, like, even if you post your question on Twitter, you would get tons of answers for your question. And it is easy to use. Easy to use only if you are from web means only if you are from a programming based, like if you have a grip on any object oriented programming language, it is really easy to use. So as I said, Flutter is beautiful, fast, productive, and open source. Beautiful to create UI, fast because you can actually see the changes when you are coding. Productive because it is cross platform, so you can create apps for multiple devices, multiple platforms, OSs, and using a single code base. And as I said, it is open source. So currently Flutter supports mobile, that is Android and iOS, both web, desktop, embedded, and they recently launched Fuchsia OS, Linux OS. So basically you can create apps for mobile, that Android, iOS, web, Windows, Mac OS, Linux OS, Fuchsia, and IoT in this same code base, using the same code base. You don't even need to change a single letter in your code. So top companies that use Flutter, though Flutter is still new, but there are really good companies that are using it, like Google, for example, the AdMob application for Android and iOS that is made using Flutter. Groupon website and app both are made in Flutter. Then Alibaba Group, Capital One. If you are aware of Reflectly, it is a diary app, personal diary app that is also made in Flutter. And there are lots and lots of such companies that are using Flutter. You can actually see this from their showcase website. There is flutter.dev/showcase. There are tons of applications shown which are actually made in Flutter. So this was the introduction part. Now let's go to what you need to start with Flutter. First, as I said, you should have a good grip in any OOP language. Maybe it C++, Java, Python, no issues. Just one OOP language, you should be good in it. because Flutter uses Dart, that is there is a programming language developed by Google itself. So if you are familiar with Dart, like if you are not much familiar with Dart, no issues. You should be familiar with any OOP language because the Dart uses all the OOP concepts as inheritance, polymorphism, etc., etc. So this was the part of like what you should know. Now installation, first you should have Git in your system, not GitHub desktop, but Git the CLI one. Then you have to download the Flutter and Dart SDK from their official websites and one IDE where you can code Android Studio or VS Code. Android Studio is preferred because it would download all the Android SDKs, that Gradle files that is required for starting of the project, like for the first project. Once you download all the Android SDKs, it is you can easily switch to VS Code. Now you might be having a question that why Git is used. Like normally in any programming language like C++, Java, or even if you are from Android background, Git is never used. Yeah, even React Native does not use Git. But here, as I said that Flutter is open source, so whatever code that is pushed to the official Git official Flutter repository is entirely downloaded to your system, so that you don't so that even if the application doesn't have internet, it would still work. That's the reason Git is used. So whenever you run your app, all the files from the GitHub is downloaded to your system. So as I said, Flutter in Flutter everything is widget. So let's have an example of a Flutter widget tree. Flutter widget tree is basically if you might be aware of like we sometimes we create a family tree, right? Grandfather on the top, then father, children's like that. So that's it is similar to that Flutter widget tree. So my app is a class which specifies which is the home page, like which is the application page of your Flutter app. Material app is the widget that allows the user to use all the Material UI components. You might be aware that Google has its own Material UI components, right? So this is the Material app is the main widget that allows all the Material UI components, may it be icon or colors, etc. It allows all the Material UI components to be used. My homepage would be the main homepage of the widget of the app. Here you would be providing which would be the home page, that is the first page of the application. Scaffold is the widget. For example, let's say scaffold is a canvas on which you draw your apps. This would be much clear to you because when you take up a drawing, you want to draw some painting, so you take a canvas sheet and start drawing on it. So scaffold is like that. Scaffold is the canvas on which you put your widgets to display on the application. Now there are different widgets. Scaffold has different properties. First of all, app bar. So app bar is the property. Like for example, let's take an example of Instagram. So on the top, the Instagram is written. On the right side, you have the search and chat button. So that entire part is the app bar. Now, as Instagram is a text, so app bar has a property called text where you can specify the title of your app bar. Likewise, we have different widgets which we would go further while we have the hands-on session. So you would be much clear in that. Now, how Flutter apps actually work? We saw how we create Flutter apps, like we actually saw it theoretically. Now, internally, how it works. So you write your code in Dart. The Flutter framework takes your code and it displays, like it renders all the widgets and the UI on your application. Now this widgets you have to it basically uses C++ Flutter engine. That is you can say it is like a C++ compiler to compile your code. Once it compiles the code into native, it actually compiles the code into native platform, so that you actually get a feel of like you are coding into native Android, like using Java, Kotlin, etc. Then the native code which has been compiled is then transferred to the Android runner. iOS or Android runner. So iOS or Android runner is basically the just-in-time compiler. Just-in-time compiler compiles the code and launches your application on the hardware. It is pretty simple. You write the code in Dart. Flutter framework takes up your code, renders all the UIs, converts it into native code, launches the application on the Android or iOS emulators. Yeah, so you might be thinking why Dart is used, because there are like many languages. Java could be used because and native platforms already use Java, so Java could be used. Kotlin could be used, but Google used Dart because Dart is developed by Google itself. It is optimized for UI, productive development, and fast on all platforms. Plus, one more benefit was that it provides boilerplate codes. That is, for example, when you start coding in Flutter, if you write STLESS, it would create an entire widget, stateless widget, which would help you to, predefined codes are available. So this is the hot topic, Flutter versus React Native, because React Native is already being used in the industry, and it's like really good, I must say. But as Flutter is being adopted very widely, so let's just compare it in pretty quick time. So the language stack, as I said, React Native uses JavaScript, Flutter uses Dart. Architecture, Flux, here they have created their own. There is Flutter Flux. Performance-wise, Flutter is better compared to React Native. UI, both almost similar, because the widgets that are being used in Flutter are actually developed, like actually inspired from React Native. Community support, as I said, Flutter is still growing, so the community support is wide but still expanding. Testing tools both have same, because both uses the widget tests and black box testing. Development time, if you are from web development background, React Native would be beneficial, because you would already be pro in JavaScript. And on the other side, you should for Flutter, you should be at least as I say, you should be at least good in one of the OOP language. Now, Flutter has one special functionality, hot reload. So hot reload is something like when you code, let's say you have just changed one text, you click on hot reload and it would directly reflect on your application. And stability, Flutter is still new, so it's quite stable. But some of the features, like the web is in beta, desktop applications are in beta version, so it's still developing. So Flutter is comparatively less stable than React Native. So what is the conclusion of the war? React Native and Flutter both have their pros and cons, but Flutter came out as the winner in this match. Some of the industry experts have predicted that Flutter is the future of mobile app development, not just mobile app development, but all the platforms. Let I don't know, like they would also launch in upcoming years that you can now develop for Apple watches. No one knows. So let's wait and watch. You can actually check out the entire comparison on the website. We would provide this PPT slides later. So today, what is the current trend on of Flutter? LinkedIn data says that Flutter is on number one. Flutter is one of the top 15 GitHub repos which have been forked, starred, contributed, used by brands around the world. Like as I showed earlier, there are tons of companies that are using Flutter. So this is something that you should keep in mind. Must know for Flutter developer. These are some of the points that you should be known before starting with Flutter. First, there is framework language, Dart. You should be at least familiar with Dart. Not Dart, then at least an OOP language. Separation of concern. So this is the most important. Separation of concern means Flutter can be used as a backend too. So you have the UI that is also coded in Dart language. You have the backend that is also coded in Dart language. So you should be known of that simple line where you have to manage the UI and backend both. Yeah. Recently, Google Pay is also converted to Flutter. That's true. So the next is UI state management. UI state management is definitely important, but for the start, Yeah, you can skip this. UI state management means whenever you create apps that have multiple screens, you have to maintain its state, like for the current time, what state the page has. Writing optimal and managed code base, this is for every developer, not just Flutter developers, and learning how things work at native level. This is basically an advice that if you learn anything, learn into the depth, not just the upper layers. Some of the helpful resources to start, the official documentation of the Flutter is really great. You can actually get everything from the documentation. It's even easy to learn, easy to understand. Some of the tutorials, that is Flutter.dev has its own tutorials. They explain each and every widget. They also have widget of the week. I personally also recommend the Amtech Viral YouTube playlist. I started my Flutter journey with this playlist. This playlist is developed by Pawan Kumar. He is the first GD of Flutter, Dart, Web, and Mobile. You should definitely visit it. Yep. So enough of talk. I'm sorry I took a lot of time. So now let's do some real stuff. Yeah. So now I would like to hand over the session to Maliha, who would explain the counter app. That is the you can see the basic app that is created when you first create a project, and we would have the hands-on session as said later on.
Okay, so hello everyone. Every one of us heard how great Flutter is. And yeah, all of you at some point might know that it is in use and it is something great, it is something upcoming, which is why you are attending this seminar. So let us get our hands dirty with code, right? So I'm sending one link, which is of Dartpad, and this you can use to run your small Dart code online. That is, currently, if you just want to start with Flutter, you don't really need to install the SDK as of now. We are just going to use this Dartpad, which is an online playground for creating small Dart codes or Flutter codes. So I hope that you can see my screen. So if you go to the dartpad.dev link that I sent in the chat, you'll be seeing this on your screen as well. So over here, from the samples, you can select, there are multiple samples which are available, and the counter sample is the one that I currently am on. So if you install your Flutter SDK, and if for the first time that you open your you create a new project, this is the code that you are going to get, certain lines of codes. And what this application basically is when you click on the counter, the number over here increases. So let me first introduce you to the certain things in Dartpad. So this is your run. So whenever you make any changes and you want to click on run, or you can type Control Enter, and the code will run, and you will see your output over here. These are certain options over here available on the top. One of which format is the one you are going to use to just properly format your code, indentation and stuff. So let's start by understanding what this basic code is. So the first line that you're going to see is your import statement. So this is basically any import or include statements that you have in any of the languages that you must have used. So like in your C language, you have your hash include, right? So that is something similar to that. We have our import over here. So that is importing from your package flutter material.dart. So this is a file. This is the file that it has all of the widgets that Abhishek was talking about. All of those widgets are defined over here in your material.dart. So obviously, in order to create your Flutter applications, you are going to main method, and this is a lambda expression, and we have our run app function. So this is that the application, my application, is going to be the application that you want to run. So that is defined over here, my app. It is a class and it extends stateless widget. So as you know, everything in Flutter is a widget. Your application itself is also a widget. So that is why it is extending this stateless widget class. And with widgets, the one method that is compulsorily you require to override is your build method. So what this requires a build context, and the return value you can see over here is a widget. So that is what you want to display. So what we want to display is a material app. Now, what material app is just basically your application. It is a widget that is provided to you so that you don't need to write everything from the very basics. What material is, it is Google's design language, and that is to create beautiful UIs easily, which is why we use material, and all of the widgets in Flutter use material UI. So, okay, we have certain attributes over here. So in Flutter, whenever you are going to declare, you are going to use a widget, you will be making a new object of it. So like in your Java or in your C#, you want to make a new object, you're going to write new and then the class name with 2 brackets, right? But in Dart, you can write new, but it is not necessary that you do so. So that is why we're not going to write it. We're just going to write material app. So that is, you're creating an object, a widget. And it has this title, debug show checked mode banner. So that is just a small banner that appears over here. We don't want to see that, so we are keeping it false. Certain theme, which is blue. So that is why all your colors will be blue over here. If I change it, the colors would change. And we have our home, which is my home page. So home is the page that is going to be shown in your first screen in your application. So this my home page, again, it is a widget, but this time it is a stateful widget. So well, in Flutter, we have 2 types of widgets, stateless and stateful widget. So what is that? So when you want to define something static, it is stateless. It does not have to remember anything. So say that you have your app bar over here, this Flutter demo homepage. You don't want to change it, right? You want to keep it as it is. So it is something static. So you can define a stateless widget for it. Whereas for your counter, when you click this, you want something to change in your UI. So that is why you're going to use a stateful widget. That is, it remembers that currently I'm on 4, and when I'm clicked, it should change to 5. So that is, you are maintaining certain state in your application, and that's why you require a stateful widget. So when you are writing a stateful widget, you have another overridden method, create state, which is going to return your state class, which is extending from state my homepage. Now, again, the state class will have your build method, and that is where you are returning your entire widget, whichever you want to show. So well, in your my homepage, the stateful widget, you are basically passing it to my homepage state, and you are passing this title from here. So that is just passing certain value in your constructors, which you will do in any of your programming languages that you might have used. So well, we have this in our my homepage state. We have our increment counter method, which is just incrementing this counter. We'll come to it later. So let's see first the static part, that in the build, what is there. So we have this scaffold. So as Abhishek said, that it is certain kind of a canvas. So what happens is this app bar that you are seeing, you might want to use it in multiple of your applications, right? Almost all of your applications would have an app bar. So why to like every time create this thing from the scratch? So that's why Flutter gives you this app bar, just this one attribute, and you can like define it over here. You'll be using your app bar widget, and you will get an app bar. So similarly with your floating action button. So in many applications, this button is also in use. And when you just define it using your floating action button over here, you are going to get a button on your screen. So these are certain basic things which are needed in almost all of your applications. That's why Flutter gives you this scaffold widget. Using that, you can create your basic application very easily. You don't have to code everything from scratch. Now, see, I don't want my app bar to be in this particular manner or my floating button over here, then I can obviously create it from scratch. But generally, we are going to use this scaffold. Okay, so the next thing that it has, so your app bar with certain title over here. So it says widget.title, which was passed in our constructor over here. So it shows Flutter demo homepage. Now say that instead of this, I change to my app and press Control Enter, then well, it is going to show you my app because that is what you're writing in your text. So even your text that you want to show is a widget wrapped around the text widget, which just takes a string. Now then your body, this body that you're talking about, you are going to use a center widget. The reason why your text is centered over here. Then a child of that is column. So what is this child thing? So you want to create a hierarchy of your widgets. Whenever you want to define your screen, you want to tell Flutter how my screen should look, you define certain hierarchy in it. That first of all, center whatever I'm going to write. And what is that I'm going to write is in my child attribute, which is a column. So what a column is, so two of the very famous widgets of Flutter, your column and your row. So column is obviously vertical and row your horizontal. So say I change it to row and I press Control Enter. So it should show me in a row. Okay, so the next is it requires children. Now, why not child and why children is because row is going to take multiple children. So say center, it takes only one child, but row, it is going to take multiple children. And that's why the attribute children, where to define a list of those widgets. So this is the first text and this is your second text. So these are the two children of your row and they are going to be shown side by side, that is in a horizontal manner. So that is if you use a row. If you use a column, then it is going to show you in a vertical manner. And next, your floating action button. So that is over here. And it has, okay, so this is icon. What is your icon widget is this plus sign that you see inside. You don't have to, so with your this icons.add, so this icons class, it has all of these material icons which are already available, and you just need to say which icon you want to use and that will be displayed over here. Now, so this the state part that we were talking about is seen over here. That is in on pressed, you are using the method increment counter. So this method is you have defined it over here. So what does that do is it just increments this counter. It says plus plus. But the very important thing to see is this set state method. So what this does is it actually changes your state. So before that, if I just increment the counter, it is not going to be shown. If I just keep incrementing my counter outside the set state method, the result won't be shown over here because yes, I'm changing these values and yes, internally it is going to be stored, but it is not going to be reflected on my screen unless I do it in my set state method. So that is about this set state method. So that is all about this counter app that you are going to see every time on your screen that you create a new project. Now, if any of you have any questions on this, then you can go ahead, maybe unmute yourself or ask in the chat section. And then we can, if you don't have any questions, then we can move on to creating a small UI.
Yes, guys, we would actually love to hear your questions because community is mainly to learn. Even if you ask question, we would also learn something from your questions too.
That's for sure. Okay, so when to need stateless or stateful widget. All right. So currently the screen that we are on is this counter thing, that is it changes every time, right? So that's why we use a stateful widget over here. Stateless would be to just display a static screen. That is, nothing on our screen is changing. It stays as it is. As I said, this app bar that is there, it is internally a stateless widget. We are just using it, defining this app bar thing, and we are using it. But internally, this is a stateless thing. Why? Is because you just give this my app thing, and then you don't want it to change during your application. Whereas for this text over here, you want it to change. That's why you're defining it in a stateful widget. I hope that answers your question. Okay, so what part? Could you unmute yourself and we can have a little conversation on it? Do we have anything like turtle in Python? So I guess turtle in Python is used for displaying certain things, right? For UI thing, but Flutter is itself entirely a UI framework. So Deepak, would you like to ask certain specific questions on what part of the code do you want to understand? So maybe not. I'll just go ahead and okay, my home page extends stateful widget. So yes, to create your okay, so to create your widgets, you are going to extend one of these things, stateless widget or stateful widget. So when your widget is when you want to maintain certain states in your page, you are going to use a stateful widget. And when you don't want to maintain any state, then you can use a stateless widget. So your homepage currently extends your stateful widget because your screen is maintaining certain state in it. So what this particular line, if you want to see, so what that is, this is your constructor, as you have constructor in any other language, and it is taking certain key and title. So well, this title that is there is passed over here, this title of Flutter demo homepage, and the reason why it was showing over here is because we are storing this value. So this is just your constructor, and this is your super, that is your stateful widgets constructor that you're calling from your child class. And in create state, we are calling our my homepage state. So that is your this state class, and its build method is returning certain UI to you. Okay, so when to specify as row and column. So currently what you see over here is your column. But say you want to have this text side by side in one horizontal so if you want it in a horizontal way, then you're going to define it as row and the text will be side by side. Okay, so I guess now we can move on to creating a small UI that is just a stateless UI for displaying a profile. Let's just create it together. So if you want to try out as well, then go to dartpad.dev and start typing along with me. Maybe you can split screen and see it, or however it is, or if you just want to see, then also it's fine. Okay, so let's just clear this everything out. I'm going to keep this stateless widget, and over here, I'm going to define another stateless widget itself. So okay, this my homepage thing has gone. I don't want to give any title over here. Just a second. Okay, so the my homepage is what we are going to define now. So how to do that? So class my homepage, and it extends stateless widget. So why stateless is right now I don't want to maintain any state over here. Now this gives certain error because we don't have our build method which is required. So let's just copy this from here and paste it over here. That is in build, it is going to give certain widget. So well, let's return something. So for now, I'm just going to return a container, and let's just run our application to see that it works fine. So container is a widget that is used to basically just contain any other widget in it by giving certain extra attributes like the color of your background or anything that you want to change likewise. Okay, so well, let's just start. This is giving certain error because it can't find the Flutter package. All right, so let's just start with our scaffold. And currently, I don't want to give any app bar over here. We're just displaying one small screen. So we can just use our scaffold with certain, let's say, background color. So if you type control space, you're going to get these hints over here. And I'll say colors dot something like purple. So as you can see, you can just see a screen with purple color in it because that is all we defined over here. So next we want certain body over here. So if you press control space, you're going to have all of these options like what does scaffold, which attributes can scaffold take. So this body thing is that I'm going to use over here. Also another thing is this documentation. So whenever you like click on this, say on scaffold, and you are going to see the entire documentation in your Dartpad over here itself. So that is very useful if you're just starting with Flutter. So in my body, I'm going to use a widget which is called stack. So what it is for any of you who would know what a stack is, one on top of the other, right? So I have certain widget on the bottom and something that I want to display on the top of it. So well, it takes multiple children. So again, we have this children thing and it has a list of widgets that it takes. So which it wants to, so I can just give a container over here. This is I'm creating certain kind of background for my page. That is why I'm using a container, and the color of this container that I want to give is a yellow color, which is called an amber color over here. And the height of this container, I'm going to give certain like 300 a value. So you can see this container over here that I created. It is taking the entire width, and where it has a height of 300 and it is taking the entire width, and its color is a yellow color, amber color that is. Now another child to our stack is going to be a column. And in this column, I want to display a profile picture of whoever's profile this is. So you can use your image or whatever. And so we have a widget named circle avatar, which we are going to use. But before that, so you can use your children widget over here, and inside that you can define. So I'm going to use another column over here. And in its children, I'm going to define this circle avatar. Now what values this take is certain background color and image. So you can just give an icon for now, or you can use a background image. Now to use images in your application, you require those images statically available on your PC, right? But online on Dartpad, you can't do that. So we are going to use a network image. So Flutter has this options available for you. So when you say network image, it is coming from certain URL. If it is static, then it is coming from your you would have it in your directory where your application is, and you will be using it right from there. But currently we can't do that, so we'll be using a network image. So this is a URL of an image of Potnikox that I have, and that I'm going to use it over here. Let's see what it shows. Okay, so it shows this over here, but it is very tiny. So let me give certain radius to this circle avatar, say 70. The name of the person, whoever's account this is. So I can just say text over here, and I can write name of this person. I can just say Monica Keller, and well, it should show it. Okay, but it does not look very attractive. So we can have certain, I just want to like style this text properly. So then we have certain an attribute called style, which is available, which takes, so if you can see in the documentation over here, the style takes a text style value. So I can say text style over here, and what value that takes is there are multiple options. So for first, we can say color is a white color. I can have font weight, which is bold. And also give like a font size and certain letter spacing. So this is all just to beautify your text. Okay, so now the text which is there, it is also very close to your profile picture. So we require certain space between it. So what you can do is to your any widget, you can wrap it inside a padding. So I'm going to cut this from here and I'm going to instead define certain padding over here. So padding is another widget which is wrapping a widget inside it. In the child class, you can give this value. And a compulsory attribute that you need to give to padding is this padding, which takes, because you can see edge insets geometry. So that is a widget that is available. So edge insets dot, if you can say edge insets dot all, and then you give a value of say 10, then there will be certain padding which is created. Okay, so finally we can see this output over here, which is the text which is displayed in white color over here. Okay, so after these two things, what I want to display is a row of certain stats of this person. Like in your Instagram, you have your these many photos, these many number of followers, and these many number of following. So that thing, if I want to display, so I'm going to create a container for this. Why? Because I want to give it certain background color. And okay, I want certain margin. So margin is your spacing between two widgets, or with the border, if you want to have certain spacing, then you can use margin. Again, that takes your edge insets dot all, and around 40. Okay, and I can give my child widget, which is a row of so it will take multiple children, that is these stats that is going to get. So for this, I can define certain method of get stats, and it is going to take this value, say photos, 25 photos she has. So this is not defined yet. So let's define this method. So I'm going to say that this method, it returns a widget, and it takes two values, both of which are string. So string heading and string its value. So again, I want certain padding around these things. And the text that I want to show is in a vertical manner. So that's why I'm going to use a column over here, which is again taking a list of widgets. Okay, so that is going to be your text with a heading. Let's just see what it gives. So yes, it just gives this one text and I want to display another text beneath it. So that's why I'm using a column over here, and I can say another text which takes a value. This value thing that we are passing, so that should be shown below it. Now this heading, I want to make it bold. So I can say style and apply certain text style on it. That is, make it bold. Okay. So the padding that I gave was only vertically, not horizontally. And the reason you are going to see, but let's just define certain more values over here. So you can just define certain methods or certain even classes for your widgets, so that you can basically like get them whenever you need. So I just have to write this one line and I can get this particular thing whenever I want. So that is why I've defined a method over here, because it is reusable. And so your row and your column have certain attribute of your axis alignment. So what is it for your row? You are going to have your axis as your, as I said, horizontally, and for column, vertical will be the main axis. So our main axis is horizontal, and any alignment that you want to do over here, so that is main axis alignment, you can use, and it has multiple options to use. Okay, so there is something called center. That is, if you want to bring everything to the center, start and end, to make it in the very start or in the end of your axis. Space around and space between. So space around, what it will do is create space around your widgets as well as between them, and space between will only make space between your widgets. So okay, they are like spaced. The value that I used was space around. So certain space you can see before this photos thing as well, and between them as well. Now this box does not look very attractive, and I want to give certain border radius to it. So your container has another attribute called decoration, which takes a box, which takes a, basically this decoration thing. It takes a decoration object, but that is your abstract object, and one class that extends it is box decoration. And let's see what attribute it has. So it has our border radius that I was looking for, and well, border radius is taking again border radius dot okay, so I want circular border of, let's say, 10 radius. Okay, now this is going to give certain error. So with container, what the thing is, the color thing, if you're describing outside, then you don't have to use your decoration. But if you are using a decoration, then the color should be defined within the decoration itself. Okay, so now it looks a little proper, right? Okay, now after this, I want to have another container over here that has certain details of this lady. And for that, I'm going to use my, so this upper column, which is there, one of its children, I want to be another column. Okay, so over here, I'm going to give another container. And again, it has certain margin and certain padding. Let's format our code. It looks very ugly. All right. What is margin and what is padding? Margin is your space outside that you see over here, outside your widget that is there, that will be considered your margin. Whereas inside whatever the space you want to leave in, that is called your padding. Okay, now decoration, I'm going to apply the same decoration to this container as well. And color, I'm saying black color with an opacity of 0.2. That is, I want to make it a bit translucent. And the child of these is, this container is going to be your column, whose children. Again, I'm going to define a method for it that returns a widget and something like get row details that is taken in icon data. And certain string value. Okay, so now that is going to return. So basically, I want a row of data to be given by this particular method. So I'll be choosing some padding around this, which is going to be a value of, say, 10. And the child of this is going to be your row widget. And going to use an icon. So to display an icon, give a string value. For icon, you have icon data, which is to be given. So that is your icons class. It has this icons which are available. So if I just press control space over here, as you can see, there are multiple options of icons which are available and you can use from. So currently, I want to display this icon data which is there itself. And the color I can specify that this is the color I want my icon to be. And another value will be your text value, which is there. So the value, that is the string value which is there, and some style to this, that is going to be your text style. So I can give it font size and some color. So now I can use this method get row details over here. I can say icons dot email. So that is going to give me an icon of email and a value, which is any value. Okay, let's say if it displays properly. Okay, so you can see that there is an icon over here and there is some text over here. Now let's give certain spacing between them as well. So for that, I'm going to use a sized box. So what your size box is it will take either a height or a width or both, and you can just create a box which just has these certain values. It doesn't do much, it just creates certain space between two widgets. So kind of a workaround against your padding. I can have multiple details of her around here. Let's say a mobile number. Okay, so as you can see, these are displayed well. Now this entire thing, I don't want it to touch like my top of the screen. So that's why I'm going to give that main axis alignment to my column as well. So this main column which is there, I can say main axis. I can just center them. Okay, so now it is in the center. So that is it, that the UI is created. We used a network image for this image. We used a container to create this entire container in which we had a row to display this in a horizontal manner. Then we gave it a space around your main axis alignment. We gave it space around to create certain space between them. For these texts, we used a column to display them in this vertical manner. For our text, we used some text style to make it bold as well. Then for this thing, again, we used another container which had a column as a child and its children, these row of information. So you can go ahead and create certain UI of this kind yourself. And let me show you one more thing. So what I'm going to do is go to gist.github.com, and this entire code, I can create a gist out of this. I can name it something with Dart extension and say test UI. And I can create a public gist of this. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to say dotpad.dev/this particular ID. So that should give me the code that I had. So now that I have this, it is shareable and I can in fact share this thing with you. So you can go ahead, you can see this code that I wrote over here. You can play around with it, add certain changes, and you can create UI of these kind. And even after this seminar, you can create certain UIs of that sort and share these links with us, tag us on Twitter or anywhere you would love to see what you create with it. Thank you. That is it for the hands-on. If any of you have any questions, then please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Malia. That was, really a great UI. As you saw, it just took 30 minutes to create this UI. It is really fast, and you can definitely create it whenever. You can also create it like on the go, wherever you are. So we have one question from Deepak, Malia.
Okay. So what is it? Your main axis alignment and your cross axis alignment. So let's just talk about one thing for now, our column. So the column has your main axis, as I said, vertical, that is in a straight line. So when you say main axis alignment, you want to align your widgets widgets. So if you say start, it will be occupied on this side, on your left-hand side. And if you say end, then it is going to be spaced in your right-hand side. That is for your column. Now, when we are talking about row, the main axis for our row is your x-axis. So the main axis will become your x-axis and the cross-axis will become your y-axis. I hope that answers your question, Deepak.
Great. So if any participant want to introduce yourself, if you want to ask anything about Flutter or Flutter Valsad, You can unmute yourself or write in the chat section. We would love to interact with you all.
In fact, all of you can even keep your cameras on. We would love to see your faces as well, your reactions.
Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, Pulkit, you're audible. Pulkit, I think there's some internet issue with you. Pulkit, it's okay. You can actually write in the chat section your introduction because I think there's some internet issue with you. And okay, so until Pulkit gets his internet back, or maybe write in the chat section. If anyone else want to introduce yourself, it would be really great to know you.
Hello everyone,
Hi, Arbaz.
Abbas Diwan this side. I have just completed my MCA from Sardar Patel University, and I'm playing with Flutter for more than around 2.5 months. And it's good to see the Flutter community evolving in my neighborhood. And the hands-on part was amazing. Thank Malia.
Thank you, Arbaz. Where are you
I'm
from?
from Chikli.
That's
Okay,
great.
that's quite near.
Thank you.
Anyone else who would like to introduce yourself? Okay, cool. So before we end the session, we would like to have a group pick. Pulkit is here. So Pulkit, would you like to introduce? Like, do you have your internet connectivity back?
I am audible.
Yes, yes, you're audible.
Hello. So, introduce starting. Yeah.
Pulkit, your voice is lagging. Kalpit, you have a question that any alternative for Android emulator other than the one that comes with Android Studio. So basically, actually, there are more you can actually create many emulators in the Android Studio itself, right? For example, Google Pixel. I don't even know. Many are there because I usually use the physical device. Yeah, so Deepak is saying I'm using BlueStack for lightweight. Yeah, so as I said, there are many emulators which you can create in the Android Studio, and even if you think that an emulator is, making your laptop a bit laggy, then you can always use, yes, it actually creates lag. So you can usually use your phone. I prefer the physical device because there are some functionalities that won't work in uh, emulator because, for example, SMS service it won't work in your emulator. So it would be better to use the physical device itself.
Hello, sir. Now,
Pulkit, your voice is still lagging. Get offline. It's not get offline actually. What it does is, as Flutter is open source, so whichever package you use, for example, as we use the material package, like Flutter package material.dart in the hands-on session, so it downloads all the code that is present in the material.dart file. Basically, it downloads all the files which are present in material package into your system so that you can easily access it in your code. Like for example, the hands-on session that we did, the app we created, you don't need internet access to run your app, or you even don't need internet access to while coding. So basically, whenever you import a package, at that time only you need internet access so that all the files that are present in that package is downloaded from Git to your local machine. I hope that's clear, Omka. Cool. Pulkit, maybe your net is still not working. We would love to write, yeah, definitely write in the chat box your introduction. We would love to read it out. Till that time, till Pulkit writes his introduction, we would love to have a group photo so that we would actually post it on our social medias too. So please, if possible, make your cameras on. So it would be safe to use Linux, but I think when you installed it, there might be some errors. Like maybe you would have done like changed the path in the path in the environment variable. Maybe some errors would be there. Due to that, you were not able to start. There is usually no problem if you like use Linux in dual boot and allocate 30 GB space, because it would take around, I think, 5 GB or less than that for the complete setup. And if you also install the emulator, 1 GB more. It won't have any problem. So we have some cameras on, maybe some more. We have 30 participants. At least 20 must be on. Okay, cool, no issues. Let's smile, everyone. Great. So I would like to hand over now to Bhavik for the ending note. Bhavik,
Thank you, Abhishek. Now it's time for the wrap up. But don't worry, we are just getting started. We will have our next event in a blink of an eye. You won't even feel where the time has spent. Before we leave this event, we would like to thank all of the participants who joined us even in this festive time. It's always the best option to spend time with like-minded people. Be safe, continue helping others. Even if you feel it's your start, don't forget to motivate others to start. Also fill out the form sent in the chat section, you will receive your certificates by the end of the day. And do follow our social media handles because we have a pretty huge surprise for you in the next event. So stay tuned for that. And once again, thank you so much for joining and making this event a great one. Goodbye, keep learning.
yes, definitely, Omkar. We would actually love to have physical events. Let's wait. Like, even we would love to have. And yeah, don't forget to fill out the form. It would be used to send out the participation certificates to you all. Thank you, Zil. It was actually really great to see a large response from you all too, and it was like really great to interact with you all. And yep, do follow the social media accounts of Flutter Valsad. We have next event probably soon, very soon, and we have a huge surprise for you all. So don't forget to follow it. Keep an eye on your emails. The certificates would be mailed to you pretty soon. Thank you, Sachin. Thank you, Deep. Yep. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And we would love to see you all again in the next event. All the 55 participants which were there initially. Thank you so much.